Insightful and certainly very educated.
I loved his energy. I mean, it was outstanding.
So passionate and giving facts with what to do.
Energy was amazing. Personality kept us very engaged.
Everything that he said was interesting.
Do I need to go see this one? Do I not need to go see this one? Because I had to make a choice, and someone said, you need to go see Jermaine.
If we're going to affect change, we need a synergistic approach. In other words, we need both women and men working on a united front to deal with some of these issues.
I'm going to be taking a lot of tools to use not only in my personal career, but also on my daughters, especially since this was mainly geared towards women.
If women are going to bust through this glass ceiling because of systemic and institutional discrimination, sexism, how do you be successful?
Because I believe in equality, because I believe in equity, and because I believe in justice, I always ask myself, how can I influence positive change from the seat that I sit in?
Yeah, I think it was amazing that he went into the core values of what a male is and what a woman can be.
Through socialization, men are taught to stand out and to take notice and acknowledge of their work. And generally speaking, women are socialized not to be that bold and bodacious.
Did a good job of acknowledging reality in terms of things that are happening in the marketplace right now.
Men are typically awarded stretch opportunities a little bit more easier than women. And typically these stretch opportunities get men in the pipeline if you want to move up that corporate ladder or that organizational ladder. So some of the latest research is saying women have to ask for the stretch opportunities.
That there's thousands of companies that are started each year because women are being denied access and opportunity to the big positions. And they're frustrated. So you know what they do? They take their intellectual capital, they take their resources, and they go start a company. So sometimes we lose in organizations, we lose great women as a result of institutional and systemic gender biases.
On top of what you're hired for, you're gonna have these roles, and it's gonna require more time of you. And so when I say how much does your dream and goals cost you, I'm not talking about financial, I'm talking about sweat equity. I'm talking about mental capabilities.
Aren't over 50% of the women in the workplace occupying those roles and positions? Yes, but those are those low-level positions. As you begin to move up the ladder, you see more men. Now here's the irony to this. There are more women graduating with college degrees than ever before. More MBAs, more law degrees, more science degrees. So you can't tell me they're not smart and intelligent women who are capable of handling those big roles. So we gotta ask the question, what's the problem?
And what he shared with us today are some of the things we can take back to the women that we're working with, particularly around brand.
Your brand is what you are known for and who you are in the workplace and in your community. You know what? Everyone has a brand. Everyone has a brand.
So the things that he was talking and some of the concepts that he took from communication really struck a chord with me, and things about making your brand known and understanding your brand, living your values.
The second part of this is, how do I actually live this brand out? Daily, weekly, in my interactions with my peers, with my management team, my administrative team.
Many organizations today, their cultures are predominantly male-based, and so as we're looking at this, we're talking about cultural transformation, and so a change from a very male-based organization to one where there's a strong consideration of women is really important, I think.
Yeah, I think it's really important that women don't put themselves down and step up and don't be basically cowed by the men around them.
When you're afraid that in this environment you might perpetuate that, you become psychologically preoccupied with that. So they're not starting off, hey, I'm just gonna come in and perform. I'm concerned.
The things you said, there are little takeaways I'm going to take with me, and the big one that resonated with me is we let our own fear hold us back.
Whenever you have a fear, so you have a belief that someone or something is going to cause me harm, this project is going to be too big for me, I'm not gonna be able to handle it, so then you start to talk yourself out of it. So here's kind of how fear works. If you don't go towards it and you move away from it, it gets bigger.
I find him to be right on point. Everything he says, everything. I do stuff even though I'm afraid to do it. I don't let my fear make me not take an opportunity. I've gotten pretty far in life by just going for it, even if that internal dialogue says you're not good enough yet, you can't, you're not ready, I just go do it anyway.
There's a woman came up to me and she says, you know what, I needed to hear this 3 weeks ago. You know what she said? I passed on the position because of my fear. Right? She says, I got a master's degree, I got a doctorate, I got skills, but I talked myself out of it.
It wasn't just all about the women, but he did mention that, you know, us as women, us as a quote-unquote minority, we need to find the passion within us. We need to find the self-motivation. We need to take initiative of our own life. We can't have someone define our life for us. We need to define it for ourselves.
How many people here ever talk themselves out of their own dreams and goals? And then later on, you saw someone else doing what you're doing, and you're like, I'm better than them. But you know what? They had the tenacity and the audacity and the courage to do it.
We definitely, as women, feel like we don't want to shed a light on our accomplishments and things that we've done. So, and this is as it isn't the first time that I've heard this in like the past year, and it's like resonating. Like I definitely need to make sure that I'm being able to easily communicate what I've done and feel comfortable about it.
That if women are going to stand out without selling out, one of the things they got to do is to know their stuff. Become respected and recognized as a subject matter expert. You know why? Because this becomes your currency and your competitive advantage when you want to differentiate yourself.
We want to practice all that stuff, the integrity, and I love the part about the grit. I'll take that back with me. That's a new tool in my toolbox.
Grit is a better predictor of success and achievement than IQ. Now the literature shows, yes, you need some intelligence, but is it true that you can be smart and yet be lazy? How many people know people with great potential, but they don't do anything with it? So here's what grit says. Grit says that I will outwork you. I will outmotivate you. That I am driven and I am committed to my commitments.
I loved him helping me to identify my adjective.
What's one adjective that you would like for others to use when describing your brand to others?
And to focus on that adjective as my key point of who I am. And I love that part because that's not only good in my personal life, but it's good in my professional life because it's me.
So it's not only important to identify the adjective, you gotta live this adjective. You gotta be this adjective. It has to be reflected in your behaviors, in your interactions.
What's our adjective? Yeah. Everybody can use that. Anywhere, any workplace.
He always brings a very positive, motivational, inspirational message, and it kind of gets me back to center.
And if you don't have a vision for your career, you're not gonna engineer your career, someone else will.
Yeah, I know Jermaine from past experience and by reputation, and to me he energizes the audience. He uses really great examples, and I'm also one that believes his research is very compelling.
Research says the #1 reason why people leave organizations is because they don't feel appreciated.
I liked how he presented and how he put me on the spot. But I learned a lot. And I love the interaction with the whole workshop with other people getting feedback on some of the things I said and vice versa.
Very interesting quotes. He definitely had a lot of good things to say.
Well-behaved women seldom make history.
And you know, and he looked at everybody. He was always, it was as if he was including all of us.
And he allowed other people to also contribute to him so he can take it a different spin. So it was really nice to see how Jermaine also let the value in other people add value to someone, as he was also adding value to all of us. So it's like a nice dance.